Hello everybody, this is my first long-form video I'm going to be making, and in this I'm going to teach you the basics to strike Shigaraki, one of the most underrated characters in My Hero Ultra Rumble in my opinion, and someone I really think you should pick up if you find him fun. In this video I will be covering how his abilities work, his tech, his animation cancels, since those are really something you need to know if you're going to use it to his utmost ability, combos, and last but not least, what tuning I think you should run if you're going to play this style. Before we begin, I would like to preface that Strike Shigaraki isn't someone that has one good way to play him, so if you do see his abilities and think that you have your own play style with him, feel free to go do that. But this is just how I figured out how to play him to his utmost efficiency, in my opinion. You can have your own, and that will work. If that works just as fine, then all power to you. First of his abilities, Earthcrack, doing multiple ticks of damage to enemies in front of him that are directly touching the ground. This ability can also trail up walls to hit enemies on top that make it excellent for sweeping out buildings that you might want to go up to. Unlike several others, due to the unique nature of this ability, it can hit multiple enemies at a given time instead of just one. His third ability, Ground Destruction, creates a large area around him that hits multiple enemies for multiple ticks. Much like his first, his second ability can also reach up walls to touch enemies that are directly above him. However, due to how big this level gets over time and how drastically it changes, it cannot efficiently do this on lower levels, such as his first ability, Earthcrack. However, this does not nearly stop it from being his main source of damage output, doing over 300 damage at max level. His third ability, Area Glitch, rushes forward and grapples a character, doing direct HP damage. This attack can be held to do a way farther lunge, but does not have any impact on the damage or anything else. This ability is going to become extremely useful when we start talking about his combos, due to how well it can tie in with things like his melee and special action. Speaking of this, his special action, Collapse Hand, swats an enemy back, applying the embrittlement effect to them. This status effect causes the applied to enemy to take more damage than usual. So for this section, I decided to smudge the tech and animation cancels together because personally, I thought it would be better and more organized like this, so without further ado, let's just carry on. The most important pieces for tech of Shigaraki is his special action, which may not look as good, but when you pair that after a jump, it becomes way more useful for not only moving across the ground, but also in the air. When you flip back with the alpha, you can actually flick it off to the side by moving your aim. However, this is not entirely accurate and can be quite finicky at times, as you might come to find out. But that might just be an issue for me, and you might be able to do it just fine. And that is good. Now onto animation cancels. After you land a beta, use your gamma to avoid being punished by the animation, which can be very lengthy. Now to mix both previous pieces of tech, use the flip from the alpha and into a gamma to gain extra distance. Remember back when I said that the gamma was going to be the main part of his combos? Well, what I found out to be Shigaraki's most damaging non-acceleration combo is a special action, your first two melees into a gamma. Or, if that happens to be a bit too complex for you, you can just swap out that gamma for another melee or your special action again. Now, I get that this section was a bit short, but I do try to do most of my guides. Should I do any in the future, I'll try to do them without acceleration as well, because acceleration just makes things way more complicated than I think they should be. Not to say that's a bad thing, but I just prefer not to use it in situations like this, if that's understandable. Now, I am going to say that one of the builds mentioned in this section is for a costume that was only accessible for a limited time, so don't feel bummed if you can't use it. The other one is just as good, if not better. I am going to say again that I don't really like using acceleration, so if you do see one of these builds that can use acceleration, and you have an idea of how you want to use it, do feel free to, nothing is stopping you. The first build I suggest is on Cyberpunk Hero style. This can be equipped with Quirk Factor Release and Wall Runner, or if you feel like it, a Space Hop in Wall Runner. And this is the one for the event, so don't be bummed if you can't access this. The next costume and build I'm going to suggest is for Awakened Heat, Wall Runner, and Willpower. This is probably the best Strike Shigaraki build in my opinion, and something I really think you should try out. thank you all for watching until the end. I really appreciate it and hope you learned a thing or two from me. And if you enjoyed it, feel free to like and subscribe. It's free and something you can always just go in and do later. So until next time, peace out.